Hi everyone, I'm Linda Reimer, one of the librarians at the Southeast Bend County Library. Welcome to Library Connections, our weekly readers and listeners advisory video cast. Enjoy. Library Connections number 130. This is the Friday, February 3rd, 2023 edition of Library Connections. Jumping right in with the top 5 fiction bestsellers for the week from the New York Times. At number 1, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. A battered wife, raised in a violent home, attempts to halt the cycle of abuse. At number 2, It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. In the sequel to the novel It Ends With Us, Lily deals with her jealous ex-husband as she reconnects with her first boyfriend. At number 3, Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. A scientist and single mother living in California in the 1960s becomes a star on a TV cooking show. And that thump you just heard was my assistant cat deciding that this wasn't something he wanted to sit and listen to. But I digress. Getting back to the top 5 fiction bestsellers, at number 4, Verity, also by Colleen Hoover. Loan Ashley is hired by the husband of an injured writer to complete her popular series, and she uncovers a horrifying truth. And at number 5, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. A movie icon recounts stories of her loves and career to a struggling magazine writer. Moving on to the top 5 nonfiction bestsellers for the week. At number 1, Spare by Prince Harry. The Duke of Sussex details his struggles with the royal family, loss of his mother, service in the British Army, and marriage to Meghan Markle. At number 2, I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. The actress and filmmaker describes her eating disorders and difficult relationship with her mother. At number 3, The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. How trauma affects the body and mind, and innovative treatments for recovery. At number 4, Never Give an Inch by Mike Pompeo. The former Secretary of State gives his account of his time serving under President Trump, with a focus on an American-first approach. At number 5, The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. The former First Lady shares personal stories and the tools she uses to deal with difficult situations. Our first recommended read for this week is a horror novel with a nostalgic edge as it's set in the 1980s. It's the new Christopher Golden book, All Hallows. So let me tell you a little about it. Golden is back with an original and realistically frightening entry into the popular Halloween night subgenre. On October 31st, 1984, in a suburban cul-de-sac, Rick Barbosa is setting up his famous Haunted Wood attraction in the backyard with his 17-year-old daughter Chloe for the last time. The entire neighborhood, like most of the country, is at a crossroads as societal change and family drama are coming to a head up and down the street. But this year, there are also some creepy, unaccompanied children mixing in with the trick-or-treaters, children who are from another time and have only until midnight to escape the cunning man. Uneasy from the opening moments, this tale builds its tension relentlessly, with multiple points of view from a range of neighbors of all ages, revealing unsettling domestic dramas until it bursts wide open with numerous twists, each revealing something more violent and terrifying. Suggest confidently to fans of fresh, violent, and immersive folk horror, such as Loot by Jennifer Thorne, The Autumnal by Daniel Kraus, and Thomas Huvelt's Hex. And that's the booklist review. So if you're looking for something spooky to read, check this one out. Moving on to our second recommended read of the week, it's the new historical fiction novel, In the Upper Country by Kay Thomas. A young man bursts into the Brimmer study at dusk with news that a white man has been shot and killed in a cornfield. It's 1859, and the Canadian town of Dunsmore is a terminal stop on the Underground Railroad. Lucinda, who cares for the Brimmers and works with her employer writing for an abolitionist newspaper, is summoned to the scene of the shooting to tell the story. She learns that the victim, who rode into town with a Native American who has since vanished, was a slave catcher and has been shot by one of the fugitives. The old woman is jailed, and the town is on edge after the evening's events. Lucinda reluctantly visits the accused to hear her story. The tales that unspool in that jail cell create a vivid portrait of slavery across Black, white, and Native American cultures that spans decades. But even in the face of murder and hardship, there is love and courage. And Lucinda, unexpectedly, discovers more of her own family history in this moving testament to freedom. And that's the booklist review. Our first audiobook recommendation for this week is a historical mystery. It's called A Fashionable Fatality by Elisa Maxwell. The audio is read by Jennifer Dixon. Set in 1921, Maxwell's engrossing Eighth Lady and Lady's Maid mystery takes plucky Lady Phoebe Renshaw and her intrepid lady's maid Eva Huntford to the Cotswolds, where Phoebe's sister Julia, the Marchioness of Allerton, is hosting a house party. The guests include up-and-coming French fashion designer Coco Chanel. But unfortunately, Coco has decided that Julia's estate would be the perfect place to stage a fashion shoot and has brought her entire entourage without first consulting her hostess. Julia endures the imperious Coco and her battling crew, a caddish photographer, 2 miserable assistants, and 2 bitterly competitive models. When one of the models is found dead of smoke inhalation, Julia is quick to blame a servant for forgetting to open the flue in the woman's bedroom. But Phoebe is convinced it was murder. Phoebe and Eva make a great team, seamlessly working together above stairs and below stairs to uncover the truth. An evocative setting, realistic relationships, and a nicely crafted plot more than make up for the unlikely murderer simply confessing at the end. Fans of lighter historicals should be satisfied. And that's the Publisher's Weekly Review. So if you like light historical fiction and Downton Abbey, check this one out. Check this series out. And on a reader's note, if you'd like to start reading the series from the beginning, check out Book 1, which is titled Murder at the Breakers. Moving on to our second audiobook recommendation of the weekend. This one's a little bit heavier. It's called Bright Burning Things. It's a novel by Lisa Harding. The audio is read by the author. In Irish writer Harding's blistering U.S. debut, a former London stage actress finds her life in Dublin derailed by disappointment and alcoholism. Sonia is the single mother of 4-year-old Tommy, and one day, while playing with him, she gets blackout drunk, goes for a dip in the ocean, and wakes up the next morning with neither son nor dog in sight. Panicked, she wanders the neighborhood asking people, "Have you seen a big black dog and a little boy?" As it turns out, both are fine, but Sonia isn't, and her father sends her to rehab. She promises herself not to drink around her son again, though that pledge will be disastrously hard to keep. Harding brilliantly captures both the hilarity and wisdom of Sonia's 12-step program, with her time in rehab poignantly complicated by Sonia's separation from Tommy and her fear she might not be reunited with him. When Sonia views the world through sober eyes, the real struggle starts, and she movingly confronts the traumas that helped put the bottle to her lips in the first place. This unflinching portrait of a troubled, tender soul takes readers to the depths of the human heart. And that's the Starred Publisher's Weekly Review. So if you're looking for something that's got a bit of drama and a little more than a bit of depth, check this one out. Want more reading, listening, and viewing recommendations? Check out the Tech and Book Talk blog, which offers weekly and monthly recommendations, and also the back catalog of Library Connections videos, which you can find on the Southeast Steuben County Library's YouTube page. Moving on to our next section, next week at the library, we'll take a brief look at the events and activities hosted by the library for the week ahead of us. This time out, that's the week of February 6th through the 11th, 2023. This info can also be found online. Simply visit the library's website located at ssclibrary.org and click on the big bold calendar link you'll see located near the top of the page. And on a registration note, registration is required for programs unless otherwise specified, or unless the program is of the on-demand online variety, in which case, of course, please simply help yourself. You can register for programs through the library's website through the calendar of events by calling the library at 607-936-3713 or by just plain dropping by the library. The staff will be happy to register you for any program you'd like to attend. On Monday, February 6th, we have no programs or events at the library. Happy reading! Moving on to Tuesday, February 7th, we've got a whole host of programs at the library, starting off with Coffee, Tea, and English Vocabulary. This is part of the series for adult learners of English. The whole series is called Coffee, Tea, and English, and there are different components to it. The Coffee, Tea, and English Vocabulary program is from 9:15 to 10:15 a.m. on Tuesdays. This is a hybrid program being held both at the library in person and online. You need to register to get the Zoom link. Then from 10 to 10:30 a.m., it's Story Time with Miss Sue. This children's story time is held in the children's department at the library. Then from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m., it's Coffee, Tea, and English Conversation, another hybrid program held both at the library in person and online via Zoom. And then from 1 to 3 p.m., it's the weekly Adult Scrabble, which is held in the library's reading room. Moving on to our afternoon and evening programs, from 3 to 4:30 p.m., we've got GATLIS, which stands for Gay at the Library After School. GATLIS offers a safe and supportive space for youth to talk about gender, sexuality, and what's going on in their lives. It's open to anyone ages 11 through 18, which is students in grades 6 through 12, and held every Tuesday at the library. GATLIS is a partnership program co-hosted by the library and Planned Parenthood of Greater New York. The program contact is Carmen Greco of Planned Parenthood of Greater New York, but if you have questions about the program, you can also contact Kayla Crane at the library. She's the head honcho of Young Adult Services. And then from 6 to 7 p.m., we have an event that is full, but I'm going to mention it anyway in case you've already registered for it. It's the pickup for the February drive-through craft. In February, they are making heart wreaths and no-sew heart pillows. So basically what this is, if you're not familiar with it, is you register for the program and you drive by the entrance to the library between 6 and 7 p.m. on the date of the so-called program. You actually get to go home with your creation kit, and there's an online video component so you can see how to make the creation items of the month. So that's basically what it is. And this event is full, but if that sounds good to you and you've got young people in your household, take a look at the March calendar of events and register early for the next drive-through craft. On Wednesday, February 8th, our first program of the day is Miss Sue's Preschool Storytime, which is held in the Children's Department at the library. Then from 12:10 p.m. to 1 p.m., it's the weekly Book Sandwiched In. This time out, they're reviewing the title Lady Justice by Delia Lithwick. The presenter is Michaelia Rossetti Azemi, and the program is located at the First Congregational Church at Corning, which is 171 West Pulteney Street, at Corning. You can also access the program via Zoom, and after the program, you can access the recorded video via the Southeast Dominion County Library's YouTube page. Then from 1 to 3 p.m., it's the weekly Mahjong, which is held in the library's reading room. Then from 3 to 4:30 p.m., we've got the weekly Atlas, which stands for At the Library After School. The description is, where will you go when your school day is over? Now you can answer with Atlas. At the library after school. Registration is not required, just show up. And there is a creation project each week, which is always a surprise. So if you want to come and create, hang out with your friends and the head honcho of Young Adult Services at the library, Kayla Crane, join us for Atlas from 3 to 4:30 p.m. on Wednesdays. Then moving on to our evening program from 6 to 8 p.m., it's the weekly Corning Adult Writers Group, which is a hybrid program being held both at the library in person and via Zoom. On Thursday, February 9th, our first program of the day is a drop-in program for homeschoolers. From 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., it's Kids Explore Homeschool Group Ice Skating. The location is the Civic Center Plaza Ice Rink, located between the library building and the City Hall building. And from that time, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., homeschoolers can skate for a discounted admission of only $2. You can bring your own skates or rent a pair for $1. This program and series is a partnership program and series between the library and the City of Corning Parks and Recreation Department. Then from 10 to 11:30 a.m., it's Coffee, Tea, and English Book Club. This is a hybrid program being held both at the library in person and via Zoom. Then from noon to 1:30 p.m., it's the Scratch Coding Club. If you're not familiar with it, Scratch is a basic learn how to do it coding software. You can bring your own device to the club or borrow one from the library. If you have any questions, please email Kayla, who is our wizard of all things young adult. Her name is Kayla Crane, and you can email her at cranek@stls.org. The Scratch Coding Club is recommended for people ages 10 to 17. Moving on to our evening programs. The first one, the February Tween to Go, is full. But if you've already registered from 6 to 7 p.m., the Tween to Go program is a creation kit that you pick up with an online video component from home so you can figure out how to make the craft of the month. And this month they're making hanging heart spinners. Program is recommended for young people ages 10 to 14. And if that sounds good to you and you've got young people in your household but you didn't sign up for the February event, sign up for the March one or April. There'll be more upcoming. And then from 7 to 8 p.m. we have an LSC author talk with New York Times bestselling author Lana Harper. This is an online program. A recording of the program will be accessible after the talk. You can access that through the library's website, through the calendar of events. So for this program, join Lana Harper as she discusses the enchanting third installment of her immensely popular The Witches of Thistle Grove series. The new book is called Back in a Spell. On Friday, February 10th, our first program of the day is full. It's the kids program, February Artful Storytime number 2, second session out of a 4-week session of stories, followed by arts and crafts. The series is recommended for kids ages 3 to 6 and is held at the library. So if you haven't signed up for this particular program, which is full, you might check the calendar of events online and sign up for a future session. Then from noon to 1 p.m., it's the second part of the 4-week program, February Artsy Kids. This particular program is recommended for students aged 7 through 12, and it has a focus on art history and painting. And then from 1 to approximately 1:20 p.m., it's the debut of the new episode of Library Connections, a weekly readers and listeners advisory video cast, which you can access through Facebook and YouTube, and later the blog, Tech, and Book Talk. At 3 p.m., we have the monthly book club for adults. Our February read is Matrix by Lauren Groff. The program is held in the conference room at the library, and copies of Matrix can be picked up at the circulation desk. Just stop by and tell them you want the book club read for the month. And then from 4 to 6:30 p.m., it's Teen Dungeons & Dragons, led by Dungeon Master Robin. This gathering is suitable for ages 13 through 17. All levels of experience will be welcomed in this safe space. Come to one gathering or all. And on Saturday, February 11th, we have the monthly Mini Maker drop-in for kids from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This program offers a simple craft project to make and then take home. While it is intended to be a drop-in project, please do feel free to stop in anytime between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Also, feel free to contact Miss Sue if you want to reserve a time slot. You can send her an email at mcconnells@stls.org. That's MCCONNELLS@stls.org. The monthly project is always a surprise, but you can be sure it will be something fun and creative. And this program and series is recommended for those 12 and younger. And briefly, here are our library programs contacts. And that's the program for this week. I'll be back next week with a new edition of Library Connections. Have a great week.